And then the other programs that we've had throughout the last, I'd say, 30 years as well. One of them that we ran and we're hoping that we'd implement in the future again was we had an Encore Plus program, and that was free cervical and breast mammography screenings for women over 40. So we had that up until a couple of years ago. We're hoping to restore some of that as we partner with our hospitals and our Glendale Healthier Community Coalition. We also have a summer camp program that is in session right now,
which my daughter and my son will be participating. It
yes.
looks so much fun. It's a lot of fun. It seems like it.
For the kids, it's just wonderful because we have over 60,000 square feet in our facility, and so we're able to use these lovely rooms in which, in their heyday, one was a banquet room with a stage, and so they're able to have a fun time with arts and crafts and a big space to use. They're able to then have swimming every day. We have a lovely story that in our summer camp right now, because it's run by Patrick and Shelley Campbell, and they have been so generous and such a generosity of spirit that we are actually able to have within our summer camp integrate our domestic violence children population.
Oh.
And for some of these children, it is truly the first time that they are having a happy, peaceful situation. We have people in our shelter right now, in our emergency shelter.
Sorry to interrupt. People don't understand that with domestic violence especially, it does not only just hurt the victim, but it affects the children.
Absolutely.
And more so you doing this, it's a wonderful thing.
Right.
I mean, it's to see a child happy, it's the world. There's nothing more that we could express in our life that is more meaningful than to have kids being happy. And I saw that today when I came by, and came a little early just to view the summer camp because I do want to bring my kids. So
it's lovely.
It's great.
We have a wonderful story just from today that I haven't even been able to tell to all of the staff, but while we have women and children in our shelter right now, our summer camp leaders, Patrick and Shelley Campbell, have turned down no one who the case managers feel it would be a good fit for them to go to summer camp. But we have some of our kiddos from the shelter that are in there, and for the first time they're learning to swim. They came here 2.5 weeks ago not knowing how to swim. So they are not only swimming, but they're showing the younger kids now how to do it. And this has become not only a haven for them, where they're being sheltered, but it's become something positive and empowering, and something that the mom and the children are able to really understand that this has been a holistic, comprehensive continuum of care for the whole family in the healing as they transition from an abusive relationship and life. So it's really special. And then what we have been really working on a lot is our development of what we can do for our military women who serve. So we started that a little over a year ago, and that was with I'd say the directive from our mayor. At the time it was Mayor Quintero, and now he's it's a council member, Frank Quintero. But at a Glendale Healthier Community Coalition Summit, actually, in which he was speaking at Glendale Adventist Medical Center, he's a Vietnam veteran. And he put out a request that we're mindful of our veteran population. And so, as in my first initial months here, as I was assessing the community needs and as a community service provider, our responsibility is it's incumbent upon us to develop programs and services if it meets our mission and it supports our community partners.
Right.
So we've been mindful of that. And he was the first to say, what are you doing for the female veterans that are returning? What is the YWCA doing? And think about them. And since that time, there has been a surge of information that has come in and partnerships. And at this time now, we've really grown to be not only statewide recognized, but nationally recognized.
Now, what do you do for them?
We have been able to offer 3 primary areas of service thus far. And in our first 6 to 7 months, it was really assessing first a population. Was it indeed in need? Okay. So we were able to reach out to our Deputy Secretary of Women Veterans Affairs for the state of California. And because she's so grassroots and community-based minded, she was thrilled by my outreach to say, we're the YWCA, and can we serve you? And she said, my gosh, if the YWCA could help the female veterans, I will do whatever you want.
No.
She has been a true and real partner, and one of the first things she did was she gave us information, empirical evidence, that showed a huge trend of our female veterans having backgrounds in domestic violence, physical abuse, sexual assault. And the numbers were a bit staggering because we were looking at, prior to even enlistment, there was a 20% chance of domestic violence. There was a 35% chance of childhood physical abuse. And then when they entered into the military, there was a susceptibility for sexual assault. And as you know, it's at the forefront of our national agenda now. And we were able to go 3 weeks ago to Capitol Hill and meet with our local legislators and our federal runs and say, what are we doing to support legislation to help mitigate sexual assault and harassment in the military? But because of the things that she was showing us, we said, well, this is a likely fit. It is our mission and vision, eliminating racism and empowering women, and it's so timely. So we were able to connect with Synergos, which is a global leadership company that has developed military programming, but one that is specific to female veterans. They're based in Illinois, but for the first time, per the request of our Deputy Secretary of Women Veterans Affairs, we were able to host, and now it's been 2 times, 2 leadership programs, intense 3-day programming for our female veterans.
Now, is this the only program that there is out there? Are you the only one implementing this type of a program, or are there other agencies or organizations? Or
we were the first to host Synergos doing their Leading with Resiliency and Grace program in California.
Okay.
So they have been doing it, I think, for over 18 months in different states throughout the country. But we were the first in California. And we're in such a geographically located place for a veteran population because LA County is one of the highest, if not the highest, veteran populated counties in the country.
Oh, wow.
California has some of the largest numbers of our military personnel, and then when you look at women, it has the highest area for women, and especially
and
in
it's
county.
growing. Before it used to be all men, majority.
It's growing.
And now it's becoming many more people going into the military that are women.
Absolutely.
So it's a wonderful program that you're, implementing, and we
Right.
wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
And it's amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, YWCA, from the outside, it looks like a small building. It doesn't look, I never knew with all the programs that you have. I know there is much more that we could talk about. And you were talking about all the new programs that you're going to be implementing.
And one more that's really important is with that Glendale Healthier Community Coalition, we have an agreement with them. We're part of their special task force. So while they really work on their discharge population of them not being readmitted into the hospital,
right.
Then we are looking at a partnership with them, or we've established one, in which our pool will be a place that a patient could continue to have supervised health care. Our pool maintains at 87 degrees. It's going through a UV sanitation implementation process, which means there will be very low levels of chlorine, and it will be cleansed by a UV sanitation process, which is state of the art. But why this is so critical is because for our discharged hospital population, this means those who are receiving chemotherapy, who are in chronic or critical care, or who have the potential for having a compromised immune system. Our pool is a great place in which they can get a lot of aquatherapy. That's something that is a huge trend, not only for our discharged hospital population, but in general, we're even seeing that with our soldiers, our returning soldiers. It was our deputy secretary who said, wow, the pool is now being used for TBI, which is traumatic brain injury, for PTSD, and for just getting back into a good physical fitness and well-being regimen, basically. So we are going through that implementation in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We'll wait until after summer camp, actually, because summer campers are using the pool every single day. But that's another critical area, as well as developing what we are for an after-school program, which we can assist our school district with empowering classes for our elementary school students.
Lisa, really fast, I know we need to wrap it up, but, and like I said, we could talk for hours about YWCA, but how do you get funded, which is really important? I mean...
Right. We have been able to get funding for our domestic violence program historically. And actually the 10 years that we saw in the last decade, we faced a lot of hardships because we actually were 3 locations at one time. If you went back 10 years ago, we had Griffith Manor, which was a school for a child care center for our youth. We actually had a 1-year-long transitional housing program that now Door of Hope has, but that was for domestic violence women and children. And so when we faced a critical time with our funding, we realized that we were only getting enough for a domestic violence project, but everything else when it comes to facility maintenance and other programs was dwindling down. Post 9/11, nonprofits have really had to compete for funding.
Right.
And so we were not unlike the rest of them, so we faced a lot of trials and tribulations. We are so happy that with our leadership, our executive director is Michelle Roberts, and she has been a steward of being financially and fiscally responsible. We have seen in the last 2 years a growth of getting foundations back on board, major foundations like Weingart, who recently funded us. And also looking at other funders. We've built up the relations with our social or service organizations, Los Candelas, Oakmont League, Sir Optimus International of Glendale, National Charity League, Kiwanis. And now that they see that there's this real livelihood, we have said, our phrase is, we have survived, we are alive, and now we will continue to thrive. And we look at the future as a revival period of restoring all of those relationships, partnerships, and growing and going. And again, our aim is to return to a premier community service provider.
Lisa, is there a number for YWCA that we could give to the viewers if they have any questions, or a website, if at all possible?
Our website is www.glendaleywca.org. We have a lot of information on there. Our phone number is 818-242-4155. And you can call that phone number, and we have a directory in which you can listen to the prompts of how you want to be directed. But we're here to serve and serve our community, so please call us and come by and frequent and see what's going on and participate.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I really, truly appreciate your time. And definitely I am going to bring you back to the show for all the other programs that you have. Thank you for watching Lights on LA. Stay tuned next week. Good night.